Hi, and welcome to Black Heroes, presented by AT&T Dream in Black. What's going on, y'all? I'm Shannon Cross, Senior PR Marketing Specialist, podcaster, and host of Black Heroes here on HBCU Digital Network. The Black hero we're celebrating today is Darrell Booker. Darrell, welcome to the show.
Shannon, thank you for having me.
And let me tell y'all, Darrell is a very special guest. He works for Microsoft as a corporate affairs specialist, and he does wear a few hats. He's going to get into that in a little bit, but he's literally leading the fight for racial equality in the tech space. So talk a little bit about that and why that work is so important.
Wow. Why is it so important? Do we have enough time? How long is this?
No pressure.
No, I think there's been a lot of kind of buzzwords that we all hear about the digital divide and all those things. And, it's not just, where someone is on the economic scale. It is, true, division as it comes to, races and communities. So what it really focuses on is what I call level the playing field in technology as it comes to our Black and African American communities, and ensuring that they have the same access and opportunities as all other, ethnicities, communities, races, et cetera, and being in a position to really use technology to its fullest advantage. So extremely important, if you ask me.
Now, as a HBCU grad, what was it like getting into such a huge company like Microsoft?
Wow. So I tell people I never even wanted to work for a huge company.
Really?
Never. And, maybe because of that same question, like there's this, for me, it was this idea that I would just be essentially, an employee number in a cubicle. And just, I don't know, maybe I credit my mom a little bit, just always, thought a little bit more highly of myself and had aspirations. And for someone that, consider myself an entrepreneur and started things and been a real self-starter, just didn't really want to just be one of 100,000 people and really couldn't stand out in the crowd. But actually literally got presented an opportunity at a tech nonprofit conference where I was working for a nonprofit, and they said, hey, we're starting this new division. I think you'd be great for it. And for me, it was an opportunity to say, do I go, from trying to affect change, working with one nonprofit, to being able to scale my knowledge and my experience and be able to help with many more nonprofits. So that's kind of how I made the decision.
Wow, that's a major decision making factor. So I teased it a little bit that you went to an HBCU, but a little birdie told me that you may have gone to the real HU.
The real HU, Hampton University. I don't care what anybody else says.
Okay.
In my opinion, that's the real HU. I'm born and raised in Richmond, Virginia. So just being, kind of home and native to me, that is to me the real HU. But I know a lot of people who argue that.
So growing up in that area, was it always Hampton? Was there any choice between any other school for you?
It's actually ironic that you brought that up. And, one of the reasons why I kind of go so hard with the work that I do all across this country, and a lot of work that I do with HBCUs is to kind of change the narrative. And I went to Hampton thinking that I was going to an inferior school. And
Wow.
and if we just kind of think about, I feel like what society has kind of ingrained in people, that, there's certain schools that you go to if you want to get the good jobs, and go to an Ivy League, go to here, go to there. HBCUs often aren't thought of in the same light. And when they are, it's kind of like two or three that we probably can name that it's like, oh, if you went there, you're fine. The others is like, whatever. So for me, it was, it was a little bit of, is this the best move? Because I had choice between William & Mary and UVA. But I tell you, when I went to visit Hampton University, it just felt like home. So I just kind of said, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. But I'm, you know, you know, just to have this opportunity to talk about this and this type of platform that you have is hopefully we are, you know, for those that are coming up, don't feel like I felt back then, and you know, just really be proud about a decision that they make to go to a HBCU.
And to your point, how would you say that your HBCU shaped your career today?
It shaped it a lot. And you know, maybe someone will say all college experiences were like this, but I'll just credit it to being an HBCU. But you know, like I said, born and raised in Richmond, Virginia, and I was, you know, I felt when I went to Hampton, I realized, okay, I'd been living in a little bit of a bubble. And the reason I said that is, you know, I just got introduced to so many awesome, beautiful, great Black people from all over the country and all different walks of life. Like literally, it wasn't until Hampton that I even got into West Coast rap. Like, because I was
Yes,
hardcore East
I
Coast,
love that.
Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Biggie. That was me. And then, you know, when, you know, my guy crossed the hall and he got me listening to Crips and Bloods and everything else you think of, and it just really opened my mind. And, you know, I think a lot of times people say going to, you know, not until you get to college that you kind of make those really like lifelong friends. I think
For
it's,
sure.
you know, I think that's really true.
Working for Microsoft, obviously, we've talked about big company, you know, it has a reputation, it holds weight. What advice would you give to someone who's, you know, interested in pursuing a career with Microsoft? Because today tech is bigger than ever.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. And you know, I get asked this a lot. I get hit up on LinkedIn a lot. I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but when people come correct, I try to help them out as much as possible. I don't know. The one thing that's just really coming to my mind is just being confident in
Okay.
who you are and your skills, and not be afraid. I'll say for me personally, I don't think I've ever been nervous for an interview. You want to know why? Because I never
Why?
went for a role that I felt like I couldn't kill. And I think, you know, sometimes, you know, people put way more pressure on themselves than they need to. You follow me in that? And
Yeah.
tech is one of those industries that you don't have to have the huge resume and accolades or whatever. You just got to be a geek that just knows how to do it. And if you know how to do it, that will shine when you're doing some of these interviews.
Are you hiring? I'm just going to ask the question. Everybody watching this is wondering, are y'all hiring or not? Like,
Yes, yes, we are. And I tell everybody, if you
okay.
literally go to careers.microsoft.com, there are tons of things. Literally, you can almost search for any word you can think of. I
Okay.
get asked a lot about, you know, doing some of the philanthropic work and social impact. And I tell people, yeah, all those terms, just go search for it. But you know, when we think of how big Microsoft is, you know, just Microsoft, people a lot of times forget that Xbox is under us. So for all
Mm-hmm.
those that are in the gaming and all of that, you know, there's LinkedIn, there's GitHub, there's a few other acquisitions that are made. But I mean, there's tons of opportunity for marketers to communication people to sales oriented people, attorneys. We have a massive legal team. So even if you're an attorney, you can get a
Yeah.
job at Microsoft. So definitely search, always hiring. Let me give out the tips since people want to know.
Okay.
Our fiscal year starts in July, from July to June.
Okay.
So usually around, so I say that's kind of like 2 times, maybe around that March to April to May right there. That's when people know they got some open recs, they're coming. So right about then is that like that really sweet spot to
Okay.
really start looking hard. And then I'll also say for those that are in the Atlanta area where I now reside, we are building some few campuses here. So there's a lot of recruiting happening in this area.
I love that. And how did you break in?
Literally, and I've compared stories with other people, and mine was probably a little bit of an anomaly.
Okay.
But like I said, I was actually at a conference, met a guy. He worked for Microsoft. He just took a liking to me, kind of hung around me and the rest of my developers for the day. He hit me up about a week later and said, "Hey, you know, we got some positions open. I'll let you know." And I felt a certain type of way because I thought he was trying to poach one of my developers.
Oh,
I said, the nerve of this man at Microsoft trying to poach my people. Then he hit me back and said the position just came open. If you're interested, I'll connect you with the hiring manager. So I clicked the link and literally, Shannon, I fell on the floor because I thought the job description was 1000% written for me. I mean, to the T.
Wow.
And so I was like, what the heck? And that's when my mind is like, Microsoft, like,
Right.
yeah. And, because I was a tech and a geeky type person, I had been, I had an affinity to Microsoft for years. I was coding in those languages and doing some of those things. Even there was a time when Microsoft wasn't the coolest kid on the block. Those were the languages and tools that I used. So to me, it was very natural. So I said, what the heck? And I'll tell people this does not happen, y'all. So don't think it'll happen to you. But I had 3 interviews. I had one with the guy that literally referred me. So that wasn't even an interview.
Okay.
I had one with one other person. And then the final one was the hiring manager. And she gets on and says, well, I've already talked to everybody. At this point, I just want to know whether you want the job or not. So I was like, oh. Okay, all right, let's do this.
Right.
I guess I'm employee number 1, whatever. And
right.
That was 3.5 years ago, and it's been a great ride ever since.
Oh man, that's amazing. I love that story.
Yeah.
A lot of people see the finished product and it's hard to appreciate the journey there.
Yeah, and I'll go back to what I just kind of said before, like, maybe just some of the confidence, and maybe there's something that first guy, just saw in me in that initial meeting when, I met him at a conference. I was not interviewing him. I was not pitching him. You follow I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Evidently he saw something, and then those are just some things that just kind of transferred in those kind of conversations and interviews. So I'll just tell people, like, don't, and this is what I tell a lot of young people when I mentor them, don't chase certain titles, job roles, salaries, or what you think will make a lot of money, or you got to go with the stuff that you're passionate about. Because if you go for that role that you're passionate about, that's that role that you're going to really succeed in. That's that one that will have you on a Friday night when people are calling, can you go out? Like, no, I'm gonna work on this, because it's part of you. And that's when you really get to that point to where it doesn't feel like work anymore. It is truly a career, and it's truly something you want to do.
So I have a few quick questions for you, and this is a little trivia. All right. Okay. So no pressure, but you just need to get all these right. Okay. This is Microsoft trivia, by the way. Okay. So if your bosses see this,
Okay.
First question. What do Microsoft employees call themselves?
Really? What do we call them?
Like a nickname?
All Microsoft employees or certain Microsoft employees?
Some. See what I did there? I'm a journalist. Some.
I'm lost on that one.
Softies.
Nobody's ever referred to themselves as a softie. I don't know where you getting your facts from. I've never heard of that.
Okay, producer Jen, we're gonna have to bring you in to verify. Okay, next question. What was the first version of Microsoft Office developed for?
Wow.
I don't know. Are you old enough to know this question? I don't know.
Jesus, I don't know this one either. What's this one?
The answer is the Macintosh in January 1985.
You mean Office was first on a Mac? Wow. I think that explains why, I work for Microsoft, I have services, but my whole rest of my life is Apple. So I think that may explain that for me. That makes a little sense. It makes some sense now.
Yeah. Okay. Wait a second. You're team Apple on, okay.
Team Apple. I'm 1000. Like, look, don't get it twisted.
Wait a second.
I work at Microsoft. They pay my paychecks. I happen to have a Surface device because it just makes it easy, but I'm 1000% team Apple all the way around.
I'm side-eyeing you right now.
Why?
I'm side-eyeing you. I mean, I like Apple too, but I'm just saying.
And honestly, real quick, I'll say this too, back to what I say, there was a time when I think, Microsoft didn't play well in the playground with others. And, that was that real divisiveness. But now, embracing all of the different things, and as a software developer, they really strive to make all the products for iOS and Mac and everything else. So But yeah, I'm Team Apple. I'm proud of it.
Okay. Okay. I like it. And last question as part of our Microsoft trivia. Before being acquired by Google, what social media platform was offered for purchase to Microsoft?
What, oh, wait a minute. What social media platform does Google even own? I feel that
You probably
Google,
use it more than you know.
it's not Facebook, it's not IG, it's not Twitter. No, do they got WhatsApp? No, I don't know. I'm lost here.
YouTube.
For real?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not know that.
I love that I taught you something on the show.
You
That's
did.
cool.
You did. You taught me a lot. I don't know about that softies one, but
Right. You're gonna have to start a group chat, figure out, okay, y'all call each other softies?
I never heard that in my life.
Right.
I'm gonna find out. I'm gonna do some research.
I love that. I love that. Speaking of research, how can people find you? What are your socials?
My socials, my IG is my entire name, Darrell Booker, DarrellBooker. My Twitter is Darrell M. Booker. I am desperately trying to get my whole name as my handle. So if there's anybody out there that works for Twitter that can help me with that.
That is the struggle. Okay.
that is the struggle. But if I could plug one more thing,
okay.
the thing that I do on a daily basis, like I said, leading our racial equity initiative. It's a program called the Nonprofit Tech Acceleration for Black and African American Communities. It is a long title, but I'm trying to get to every community, every hood across this country and bring the needed technology through those nonprofits who are the heartbeat of our communities, but ultimately getting that technology in the hand of young kids, adults, whoever need it. And you can find out more information by going to aka.ms/NTA. aka.ms/NTA. If any nonprofits out there, please sign up and come get some of this free goodness that me and my team are giving away.
I love that. I love that. And real quickly, how many people roughly have you served so far?
Well, in terms of nonprofits and organizations, we've had over 1,200 come into the program since launching in October. That's representative of about 700 or so communities across the country. But Shannon, I got a lot more work to do. I am marching towards upwards of 20 to 30,000 nonprofits before this is all said and done, to where I know I and the team can go to sleep at night and saying that we had a real impact. And like I said, leveling that playing field. So come into a community near you soon.
I love that. Making a difference in the community, staying in shape and taking pictures to prove it. You know what I'm saying? You got it covered.
That's the trifecta. That's it.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you soon.
All right. Thank you.
Inspired? You should be. AT&T has continued their commitment to HBCUs with the launch of AT&T Dream in Black Rising Future Makers. Connect with the inaugural class of 25 HBCU students and watch them rise at att.com/dreaminblack.